Regrets. Day trading regrets. Talking about how you can manage your overall just outlook on day trading, how you can manage regrets. It's life, people. It's life. It's day trading. No regrets, no regrets. Talking about day trading regrets in this video. You know what to do. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Patrick here. Today, we're talking about day trading regrets. And one thing that I want to point out here is that the last thing that I want you guys to have is regrets in not liking this video or not subscribing to the channel. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You don't want to regret not hitting the subscribe button. I'm just going to throw it out there. If you are on the fence about subscribing or not subscribing, it might be a good time. But let's just talk about regrets in general. Obviously, day trading, hindsight, it's all a part of life, day trading, the market. You're not always going to be able to buy the bottom. You're not always going to be able to sell the top. Now, obviously, it's hard. Looking at AKTX today, let's say AKTX here, I ended up buying AKTX, what I got? 3,945 shares at $3.26. So I ended up making a total of, $78. I ended up making $78 on this trade on AKTX, right? And the stock ended up at $7 by the end of the day. So just to give you an example here, put this all in perspective, I had 3,900, we'll say 4,000 shares, right? We'll say 4,000 shares with a price average of 326. We'll say 4,000 shares. I ended up making $78 on this trade. If I would have held all the way till the top, all the way till the end of the day, I would have walked away with $10,000 to $12,000. So obviously, in hindsight, looking at this now, it's like, well, what was I thinking? Why was I selling down there? And it's really hard. I can sit here all day long and try to figure it out. I can spend every little bit of brain energy trying to figure out why I did what I did, or I can just say, screw it, no regrets, and it is what it is. And I think that's one thing that people have trouble with when it comes to day trading in general. Because, at that very moment, what do I have to do? I have to be able to get in, I have to be able to get out, and I have to be able to accept the outcome of those choices. If I buy at a certain price and the stock goes lower and I have to get out, I have to be able to accept that I bought it and now it's time for me to sell it for a loss. I have to be able to accept that I bought it and I sold it for profit and it went higher afterwards. And I can't sit here and I can't think about what could happen. I can't think about all the different scenarios. I can't think that possibly AKTX is going to go to $7. Well, maybe I could think that. Maybe I could. But in general here, what's the real moral of the story? When you trade, when you enter a trade, when you exit a trade, at that exact moment, in that space, in that time, when everything's like frozen and your finger's on the trigger to sell or to buy, you have to be able to accept that you don't know what's going to happen in 1 second. You don't know what's going to happen in 2 seconds. If I knew where the stock was going to be in 3 seconds from now, well, I could make a lot of money because I could basically just buy and know exactly where the stock's going to head from there. But it's just not that simple. It's not that easy. And you have to be able to accept it and you have to be able to live with it. A lot of people leave comments, questions, and go, how do you live? How do you accept the fact that you sold for only a $78 win when the stock went up to $7 and you could have made over $10,000 in profit? How do you sleep at night? How do I sleep at night? Well, it's very simple, very easy. I go and I put my head on the pillow and I just lay my head down there and I close my eyes and I don't think about AKTX and how I could have made over $10,000. Because remember, that's the idea here, really. It's always coulda, shoulda, woulda, hindsight 2020. It's easy to sit here in the moment and look at this stock now and say, what was I thinking? And if you do that, if you sit here and you think like that, if you make yourself believe that you could have done something differently, that if you make yourself believe that you could have taken profit at a better point, if you could have made more money, if you really end up over and over doing that to yourself, you're going to cause a couple different reactions. You're going to cause a reaction that you're not going to cut your losers quickly, because all you're thinking about is, well, maybe it could go back higher. I've seen in the past that I've sold early and it could go back higher. Yes, that's one outcome. Another outcome is you're going to second guess yourself when you go to take profit. Nobody's going to buy exactly at the bottom and no one's going to sell exactly at the top, my friends. You have to be able to live with that decision that you make in the moment, and you have to be able to walk away and be fine with it. And that's day trading. That's trading in general. You're not always going to be right. You're not always going to be wrong. You're not always going to make tons of money. You're not always going to lose a lot of money. There's always going to be ups. There's going to be downs. But you have to be able to accept the outcomes that come from trading. There's days where I end up selling a stock for a loss and the stock goes higher back past my entry. And I sit here and I think to myself, if I would have just held it a little bit longer, if I would have just done something differently, I can sit here all day and think about what I could have done. But I have to be able to mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever you want to call it, I have to be able to accept that at the end of the day, I did what I needed to do. I did what I had to do. I did what was required to either walk away green or minimize my losses. And I think a lot of people also kind of think about day trading with the idea of like, I want to always be right. I want to always be 100% correct all the time. I want to always be able to make money. And that's a great idea. I mean, it's a great idea in theory. It's a great dream. But at the end of the day, you're going to have losers. You're going to have red days. You're going to have trades that just don't work out. But if you don't cut those trades off, if you don't manage your risk, if you don't manage your red days, if you don't walk away when you need to, when you're emotionally just not right in the head, if you've got a lot of FOMO, if something's just not right, if you're not able to identify that and able to walk away and accept the outcomes and not have regret, you're going to end up losing all your money. You're going to end up blowing up your account, and it's not going to be fun. You're going to end up losing also that mental fortitude, that mental capital. You're going to start second guessing yourself. You're going to get a lot of FOMO. A stock like AKTX, let's say you take a lose. Let's say you lose money on AKTX. What's going to happen from there? Now you're going to be thinking, oh, well, I could jump back in, and then before you know it, now you lost more money. This is one thing that I've done in the past a lot, is I'll end up taking a trade. I'll end up getting out for a loss. The stock goes back higher, and what do? All right, this is a good example right here. This would be like a perfect example. Let's just look at this right here. So let's say, okay, I'm buying here. I'm like, oh, I end up buying AKTX. I think it's going to break above this 565. All right, so what do we get? 558 or 565 right there. We'll just say this. I end up buying right here. We'll just say I buy right here. This is probably the perfect example, really, for a lot of people, how they trade or how I used to trade. What happens? I'm like, oh, it's breaking out. It's going to break to the high. It's going to break higher. And I end up getting out, right? I end up getting in thinking this is going to break higher, right? It's going to break higher. 565 is going to go all the way to the moon. I end up jumping in right here. What happens? The stock pulls back. And I end up getting out down here for a loss at the support area. So I'm buying up here at the resistance. I end up getting out for a loss. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to touch it, right? I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm done. And so then the stock pulls back. It bounces. Well, what happens? It ends up breaking through that resistance. And what do? This is like all hypothetical. I don't want people commenting down below like, why would you do that? Why? This is just a hypothetical trade. This is how, when I first started trading, when I was a beginner trader, or when I first started trading in general, this is what I would do. I would end up chasing a stock to the upside, end up selling into resistance, end up selling into support, and then getting out for a loss, and then chasing it again. because now the stock pulls back. I don't jump in at the support. Remember, I sold at the support, and what do? I jump in up here because I think it's going to go higher. I mean, this is textbook. I guarantee somebody watching this video right now, I guarantee whoever's watching this video, there's somebody out there who has done this before. I've done it before. I know a lot of people who have done it before. This is what happens. So the stock pulls back. You get out for a loss at the support area. It bounces. It goes through that little resistance that you had earlier, and you're like, well, now it's going to break. It's going higher. It's at $5.75 now. It's going to $6. And what happens? Bam! It drops, and you end up getting out for a loss. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this has happened to me in the past. It's happened to me many times. You get that FOMO. You start to chase stocks, start to get that FOMO. What happens? All your entries are at resistance. All your sells are at support. If your chart looks like that, if all your support resistance areas are not lining up the right way, if you're buying at the resistance, you're selling at the support, something is wrong. You need to step back, walk away. Put your hands in the air like you just don't care. But really, you need to be able to identify when spiraling out of control. And that's going to be really important for new traders in general, is understanding that you have to take a trade. You got to get in to make money, right? You got to jump into that trade to make money. You got to sell that stock to make money. You got to be able to accept that you don't know what's going to happen next, but you are at peace with the idea that I'm going to take my profit. I've got my profit. I'm going to take it. I'm going to walk away. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go and do whatever I got to do. And you have to be able to accept that. And that's one of the things that I've just accepted lately. In general, really accepted that with trading, if I get a green day, if I have a nice little green day, if I got my profit, I'm happy. I'm fine. I can walk away. I don't need to sit here all day long and be like, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. No. I'm not going to come home after working on the boat or whatever and come home and see AKTX $7 and cry to myself about how I could have made $10,000. I could have lost $10,000, guys. This stock could have went from $3 down to $1. You know, there's always the ifs, the buts, the whats, and the buts and the what's, and all that stuff. At the end of the day, it comes down to just being at peace and understanding that nobody knows exactly how high these stocks are going to go. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen next. But we have to be able to get in, we have to be able to get out, and we have to be able to accept the outcome either way. You get out for a loss, the trade goes higher. It's just part of it. It happens. It happens. And I want you guys to understand that this is trading. You're trading the risk reward, basically. You know, you're looking for opportunities, looking for different setups. Whatever your strategy is, you have that strategy, but you've also got to be able to look inside sometimes, and you got to be able to tell yourself that you're fine with just having a little bit of profit, or, you know, keeping your losers small. You got to accept that. And the more that you accept that, the more that you understand that, the easier it's going to be to cut your losers, the easier it's going to be to take profit, the easier it's going to be to walk away when you're on a red streak or you got a red day. And just in general, it's going to be easier to be at peace at night when you go to bed because you did what you had to do. You made it happen either way. Like I said, I'm not going to lose any sleep tonight over AKTX knowing that I could have made over $10,000, which I sure could use $10,000 right now. We're talking about overall regrets, day trading regrets. You can't have them. You can't live with them. You can't love them. You got to get them out of your head. There is no regrets. It's that simple. It's that easy. I will talk to you guys later on. If you've watched this entire video and you haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. But I want to do a little test, actually. If you're still watching this video, leave the comment down below saying, no regrets. No regrets. So if you watch this entire video and you are now watching me talk about no regrets, no regrets, no regrets, leave a comment down below. I want to see how many people actually watch the entire video. Only just write the word no regrets. So we'll find out how many of you guys actually watch these entire videos through till the end. So there it is. I'll talk to you guys later on.